Hey y'all, Bench Brad here, and I wanted to show you guys how to do some cool casting. Take a dude like this and encapsulate him like this. And it's a killer bee found in the yard. Those are available on my Etsy shop, infordmade.com, if you need one, and the earrings, whatever else. But I'm going to show you guys how to do it yourself. So first off, um, this is a little flower. See how well you guys can see that. And choosing what you do is a lot of it's just experimenting. This was a real pretty flower, but it's lost its color. Uh, it didn't do it right away. It took a couple of weeks, and then it started dying and losing its color internally. But it's preserved, so no oxygen can get into it. And what you want to do here is choose bugs. Beetles work really well, hard-bodied things, ants, that sort of thing. Um, you could do like caterpillars, but apparently you gotta like boil them first, soft body things, and that doesn't really work the best. So when I collect bugs, this guy, a lot of times I try to find them dead. Sometimes I will collect them alive. If they're alive, freeze them. This guy I found as I'm covering my boat yesterday, and he was in great shape. And I'm like, oh, perfect, because as you can tell, catching one of these live would be a little interesting. I have some of these jars. I just throw these work perfect. Throw the critter in there, throw them in the freezer, freeze them. If they're still alive, kills them. If not, it preserves them. The thing about that too is like little animals like this, a lot of times have parasites in them, and I bet if you just encapsulated it right away, it would do weird things. Maybe you ought to try that. Um, like flash kill something with some gas or something, and then encapsulate it. But yeah, you don't want stuff digging around. Now, some of the fun stuff you could do with this, besides just goofing off with killer bees, well, you guys could see these bad boys, but one's a tick and one's a flea. And these are both compliments of my dog to this collection, so this is his contribution. And this is also another contribution of his. And that's a bee stinger. And the cool thing is when you cast these things, you want some silicone so it doesn't stick to. I put a drop down, and then I carefully, with an X-Acto knife, dropped the stinger right into the middle, and then put another drop of resin on top and baked it off and cured it. So yeah, that's kind of the way the process goes. Is there's this UV resin stuff for like crafting. I've been screwing around with it in a lot of ways lately, and the stuff's pretty cool, pretty handy. Let's Resin and J Diction is like the popular brands of stuff that a lot of people use. It's good quality. I've been intermixing the two of them. For this, I'm using a high viscosity clear. You could use low if you're using a mold. It pulls out better, which actually probably will use the mold for the low. We go this mold, and it's really good at getting the air bubbles out, and it leaves a nice doming effect. Like if you saw on the, especially the bee, it's hard to see on the camera, but because you're doming it on flat silicone, it actually makes it convex like a magnifying glass. And in real life, that little stinger gets really easy to check out and explore, and even like this. Now I took use silicone for the base. You could order like this as an earring mold or a pendant mold. I think we're gonna try this guy in here. I think he'll fit in there. Get the wings down right. From my nephew, I found this little egg silicone ring mold, and I built up a bunch of little. There was a dragonfly in there, a bee, a spider, all kinds of stuff, and made him a nice little like coaster because he's 2 and likes to explore. So he had a hands-on bug thing, and he dug the heck out of that. So that's kind of the cool thing about this is you could grab something in the yard, grab it, collect it, and cast it. So you'll need some sort of silicone mat. Like I said, little stuff works good on this. Medium-sized stuff that'll fit. You can get these trays, and then you'll obviously need your UV resin, and then you'll need a light. Now the thing with the light is, this is a little cheap one. You can get these little basic starter kits for like $10–15. Just get one to start playing around, and use the light to it bakes off the resin. Now, if you're in a dark environment or only artificial light, working time with this is pretty much indefinitely, as long as there's no UV light in the lights that your lights are putting off. In reality, or that's, I guess, theory, in reality, I will notice, even working at night, just with the lights I have in my house, that the stuff does slowly start to set up over a few minutes, but it's not like going off like super glue or epoxy or anything like that. Like, you have plenty of time to work with it. It does not stick to silicone. Some plastics it does not stick to. I thought about using this little, it's like a jello thing or whatever, but I don't think he'll fit very well down in there. But this is a popular thing. But the other problem with these is it's going to leave all this embossed on the inside. So you'll need some sort of tray. You need your UV. Now the other thing is see, like, I have a super, this is my Easy Bake Oven light, and this is what we're going to be using. This is just overkill and how I like to build things, but this is a Let's Resin UVer thing that I lasered a box for, and put some Legos on top to make a top for. But that's how I'm going to bake mine off. The advantage to that is it has lights on top and bottom, so it's going to radiate it from both angles, which you know, sets the curing time off quicker and makes things go a lot quicker. Curing time for something small like this, these little guys, 5 minutes top and bottom. And then for bigger stuff, you do it in lifts. Like this bee, you could totally tell he was domed up. This is one of the first things I did. And I didn't realize how thick it was going to be just free forming it like this. And I just had to put more and more and more on top. As long as you don't touch it, you cure the stuff off, and you put more on top, even mixing high and low in the two different brands. It's amazing. Like, even some fingerprints from you screwing around will just disappear if you put a new layer of resin on. So remember that. And also, like, when you're done with something, you could always dome it with high viscosity, give it a nice finish. And I have one trick for you guys at the end. If something's staying tacky and it doesn't want to cure up, I have a trick that you'll be like, how's that work? But it does. So anyways, let's get into this. Get this out of the way, this out of the way. We'll zoom you guys down in a little closer here. Now, like I said, we're going to use, try to use this thing. I'm going to take some low viscosity here, Jay's Diction, and I'm just going to pour it in. And I've learned you got to kind of go around the corners like this. If not, you will get like an air bubble in the corner, especially around like this little post there. Then put a good base layer down. Not a lot, but you want something to set your critter into. Now, little bubbles like that, I just try to skirt to the side. You can take a little torch like this and get them out, but you don't want to do that like in the middle, because it'll like add a little, you don't want to do that, then set this off, because it kind of sets like a little skin, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So when you freeze a bug, you're going to want to defrost it for 20 or so minutes until you try to do this, because if not, one, he'll be all frosty and he'll be defrosting and off-gassing, which is actually what I learned, is they off-gas a bunch as they're defrosting, so you got to be careful of that. So at least 20 minutes of out and about, and then it makes them a little more pliable like this. Now, he's still not wanting to lay down in there flat, because I want to kind of see him displayed, but I'm at least there we go. Try to get a couple of the legs out. Stick the wing over at the right angle. Stick it in a little bit. And the one thing you will notice, though, especially with smaller things like the little killer bees, is the things will float around as you put in more resin. Oh. There you go. And just kind of take your time, layer it up. And I've also noticed if you pour it right on top like this, it really does a good job of like forcing the air bubbles out and away from the body. And just watch your brim there, because the stuff is, even the low viscosity takes a second to flow out, and you'll overflow it. So there we go. Now I actually kind of screwed up, because normally I like to have my little tray out here for my easy bake oven out and, you know, ready to beat, so I don't have to be spilling. Actually, let's pull this off so we get better cureage. I'll put that in the middle of the easy bake oven. Click my little 3 clicks is 5 minutes. That cures it from top and bottom. We'll come back here in a minute and see how she turns out. All right. Here we go. Looking pretty good. Now you will notice it's a little warm. You farted a bit. We'll bubble at the back. Don't try popping it out now yet. I'm actually gonna put this back down on in case I miss. Gotta clear the rails where it fits in the easy bake oven. Now I'm gonna take some of this high viscosity and just dome her up. Get everything nice and covered. Again, I'm going to start right on top of the bug itself, working my way out, because that's where you need it the highest anyways. So get it down each wing. And all the way out. I might need to hit this wing a second time. We'll see. It'd be cool if I get it all here in one shot and not have to do that. And the surface tension of this stuff is pretty good, as long as you don't push it like I did right there. But if you kind of don't let it crowd out onto the edges. Now I'm actually down here at a really low angle. Maybe you guys could see, like, there's like little ribbon ripples, like right there, a little valley. So I just put a little in here. The tops, try to avoid again crowding my hole up. Get right back in there, and you just kind of want to, so we get a nice finished edge. Hop around that. Hope she don't cover, but if it does, drill it out. Okay. No, I really think we might have pulled this off in one doming lift. I thought she was going to be too big for that. So to finish it, I'm going to put some right here on the high spot, right here on the back of the thorax, down this wing that wants to be proud. I built this little thing up on top to hold my stuff in the bubble up position. Oh man, I knocked it again. Oh. Alright, so here we go. It's that time. I'm getting she's a little warm. I actually let her set and dry. It's popping out. We're all covered. You know what? There's a little bit of a ridgy to that. So I'm going to carefully try to pop this out without touching it, because that'll actually help it cure a little better without having multiple layers. Oh, I forgot to put my things in there after I worked on them, and you could see the silicone. Makes for some neat little drops. You know, just do some silicone drops with clear resin on here, like they're water drops, and throw them on your friend's computer or something to have a little fun. So I want to be careful with the tips of these because they got raw resin on them. And you can tell the backs it's a little sticky, and that'll be all right. I'm going to take one more shot of this high viscosity and just hit the wings, because I think it's covered, but it's kind of got a rough edge on it, and I just want to make sure it does. And I'm just going to kind of hit this whole area so it pulls out nicely and ends up with a nice finish, because this stuff it's thick enough where it will leave ridges. I don't want with the... I want to do some justice for this little thing. Deserve a nice little specimen, because these are neat to hand to people, especially youngsters. You can be hands-on with critters and in an approachable form. So again, I like to get down nice and low here. And the other real cool thing about the UV resin is when you're working with it, there's no like fumes. Like when it goes off, there's fumes. So actually on the back of my Easy Bake Oven thing there's a computer fan. And when I go to like actually doing production stuff, I hook that computer fan to my little exhaust vent port where my laser vents out of the house. I hook my UV razor to that, and then I'll show you guys here. Then that way it vents all the fumes out on days that I'm going hard on this stuff. So anyways, we're gonna put this back in Easy Bake one more time and let her go off. You could probably do it for less, but UV light is cheap, and I don't want to keep screwing around with this. So there we go. And you can see my hand while I talk. Talk. Alright, let's see what we ended up with here. Pretty cool. I don't see any raised bits or anything. Kind of bummed it all drifted up to the one edge, but it is what it is. That's a neat little model of a hornet. So we're staying to the end. I want to show you guys this little magic trick. Sometimes you'll get little sticky edges or whatever else, and I don't know why it works, but it does work. Let's take a little dish of water. This is my official dish for doing this, and I just fill it with water, drop the thing in there, swirl it around for a second, and for some magical reason, if there's any tacky bits or any part of the UV resin that hasn't gone off, that's it. So anyways, this has been a little thing here from your buddy old Adventure Brad, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And as always, go out and do something.